This is the Seven Figure Standard Podcast, hosted by Arash Vasugi and Mikey Stiller, with mindset and strategies to help you break through and create personal freedom.
Welcome back to the Seven Figure Standard Podcast. I'm Mikey Stiller, joined by my co-host, Arash Vasugi. And today we're diving into a topic that might surprise you: satisfaction and dissatisfaction. I feel like most people see dissatisfaction as a negative emotion, but we believe it's actually a powerful creative state that can drive incredible growth and transformation. At Voss Coaching Co., we work with high achievers that we call inspirationally dissatisfied. These are individuals who refuse to settle and have really high standards because they know that there is more for them to create, experience, achieve. So let's explore how dissatisfaction can fuel your success and why it's essential for living a fulfilled, purpose-driven life. Arash has coached thousands of high performers navigate their own dissatisfaction. So Arash, you're the perfect person to help us navigate this today. Let's get started. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Why do you think that dissatisfaction gets such a bad reputation?
Just lack of understanding. People always think you should be satisfied with what you have. And I couldn't disagree more. Every elite performer is never satisfied. I'm always dissatisfied because I want to keep growing. I want to keep doing better. I could take you back all the years ago when I started this. And when I really changed was because I was so dissatisfied. I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired. Well, I realized I was so inspirationally dissatisfied. There was something dying to come out of me. And that's never changed. And that will never change. The people who are satisfied give in. Now, someone might be listening to this and not like it. Well, we're not the right people for you. I will tell you that right now. Because our soul is for expansion and growth. You know, if you run, you want to run faster. If you jump, you want to jump higher. If you sell, you want to sell more. Once you gain that ounce of confidence, you want more confidence. So what happens is people lie to themselves. And until we get brutally honest with ourselves, nothing changes. Success is impossible until we get brutally honest with ourselves. And I want you to be filled with gratitude, filled with excitement, filled with joy, filled with accepting your own worthiness. But your soul does not work on just being satisfied. Do you notice when you hit a goal, you want to focus on the next goal? The person who hits the goal and stops, it's all ego. It's all ego. I did this. You know, they fill their Kool-Aid and drink their own Kool-Aid. You know, we want to get so neutral with our achievements. We want to make it just like breathing. It's just a part of us. It's just an expectation of who we are. But let's stretch ourselves to what's possible. We're living in infinite possibilities. Like somebody listening to this, I want you to reevaluate your goal. I'm not asking you to change it. I just want you to reevaluate it. Is that goal based on what you did before, or is it what you really want? So I don't set goals, and I don't believe in this. First of all, goal setting is not where the power is, but you have to set the goal first. Goal achievement happens by exact laws. It's a manipulation of energy. But when you look, is your goal set based on what you did the year before? Now, I will tell you this, Mike, 98% of the people listening to this, that's how they set their goal for 2025. That's how I used to set my goals. Why did I set them that way? Because I was very unaware. Well, once you gain awareness, the game changes. So, like right now, dissatisfaction doesn't mean you're negative. Dissatisfaction doesn't mean you don't feel good about what you're doing. Dissatisfaction is, I know I can do better. And when you start understanding how great of a word better is, my mentor used to say, the only thing, Arash, I want you to focus on is better. He said, better is a great word. And I never really understood it for a while. And then I started getting much more aware. And I said, now I understand what you mean about better. So I want everyone to be obsessed with getting better. The only limitation people have, Mike, is lack of belief. That's the only limitation they have.
So good. Arash, we're talking about inspirationally dissatisfied, and because that might be a new term for everyone listening, can you define it for us? What does that mean? Instead of just dissatisfied, what is inspirationally dissatisfied?
It's somebody who is doing good, but they have so much fire to do so much better. They're not going to it. They're not satisfied. They know there's another level inside of it. There's a fire inside of them that keeps saying, come on, there's something else to do. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to do it, but there's something inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
There's another podcast I want us to do. Maybe we'll do it next, is on what people get stuck on is the how. I never want you to think about the how. The how is none of your business. The universe knows the how. You don't need to worry about the how, but that's where people get stuck. But the individual who's inspirationally dissatisfied is constantly working on themselves. They don't know the system. They don't have the processes yet, and they keep running into a wall and they're getting frustrated. And that's the person who's inspirationally dissatisfied. They're really chasing greatness. They're chasing freedom. Even though their results don't say it, they've been creating the same results year after year, but they don't know why. But they're wanting to find the answers. That's inspirationally dissatisfied.
Do you think part of the difference between a negative dissatisfied or a dissatisfied that's keeping someone stuck and an inspirationally dissatisfied is both in reframing the way that they're perceiving their dissatisfaction and also their approach to the dissatisfaction?
Yeah, negative dissatisfaction is when people give in. When somebody is inspirationally dissatisfied, it does not matter. They're not giving in. They are determined and persistent to find the answer. And you'll find people who want to do it on their own and people who get mentors. Very different. Mm-hmm. The person who wants to do it on their own, they don't understand that mentorship is the biggest cheat code because success leaves clues. Then you have the person who's inspirationally dissatisfied. They know, kind of like I was, where my way isn't working. So they'll spend the time and they'll get mentorship indirectly through books, through podcasts, but then they go to that next level. Mm-hmm. So the person who's inspirationally dissatisfied is willing to do whatever it takes.
Do you think, or actually, can you think of an example of either yourself in your story or one of our clients where you can think of a time when dissatisfaction led to their breakthrough?
I mean, yeah, I have thousands of clients like that. I mean, for me, the more real I could tell you is myself. I lost my job. I was getting married 3 weeks later, but I was so dissatisfied. And I thought to myself, if I go back into this job, I'm going to be in a prison. I'll earn a 6-figure income. I'll have my needs met, but that's not what I wanted the most. Mm-hmm. And when I said no to comfort and said yes to my dreams, that's when my life changed. It didn't change overnight, but it almost seemed overnight when I made that firm standard of myself of how I was going to live. So we have to always decide, are we going to surrender to what we want now or what we want the most? Now, I surrendered to what I wanted the most. Now, if I said it was easy, I'd be lying to you because I got a lot of seduction from other job opportunities during that time. But I kept saying no because I believed there was something bigger for me. And I believe there's something bigger for every single person listening to this.
Do you think it's too bold to say that at some degree, either small or large, every breakthrough comes from some level of dissatisfaction?
Everyone can look at themselves. When you created some significant change, look at the prequel to that change. You were sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you became so much less tolerant to comfort. Every one of us can say that. Every single one of us can say it. Yeah. And, I've had so many instances like this. And I will tell you, Listen to that voice, because that's a voice deep inside of you. And that's from your higher self saying, come on, there's more for us to do. There's more for us to do. I say this all the time. People make the biggest mistake thinking we have all this time. Life goes by so fast, we've got to seize the opportunity. And the biggest obstacle people have, I said it earlier, is lack of belief. But they don't understand that they already are good enough. That's their birthright. See, people are always telling me, let's work on worthiness. Sure, you can work on it, but you're working on it from your ego. All you have to do is accept that I'm worthy, I'm deserving, and I'm capable. And every action you take is just going to reinforce it. But we have to come from that state. Now, the first step in using dissatisfaction as an ally to you is you have to know what you want, and you have to believe it's possible in every cell of your being. Now, freedom demands unshakable belief. Now, when you believe in the outcome before it's already happening, you're planting that seed that even though I don't see it, this is how I'm going to live. But belief is about knowingness. You know when you believe something, it's a knowingness. Like, this is what I'm doing. But belief is the catalyst that brings your goals to life. It is an absolute catalyst. Once you believe it, it's a done deal. But belief activates certainty. And it's that inner knowing that that goal is mine. It belongs to me. My desire is for me. This deep connection strengthens your commitment. And the universe only works off of energy. So it works off of two things the most: your commitments and your certainty. It eliminates self-doubt and prevents you from giving up at the first sign of adversity. But when we have belief, what we're doing is, you notice when you have belief, all the time you're just seeing possibilities everywhere. But when we lack belief, when we try to force belief, belief isn't something forced. It's just something we accept. This is what I'm doing. And so you activate faith. But you never see limitations anywhere. You don't see them anywhere.
You said something a couple minutes ago that I don't want to skip over and I really want to dig into. You said dissatisfaction is the voice of your higher self. I'm paraphrasing here, but the voice of your higher self telling you that you're meant for more.
Yeah.
So I believe you always have a voice of your smallest self and your biggest self in your head. And that's why accepting and rejecting, which we've talked about on the podcast so many times, is so important and crucial. How do you know which voice is talking to you throughout the day? If it's your higher self or your lower self?
Well, your higher self is always talking based on inspiration. It's always stretching you out of your comfort zone. Your lower self is about satisfaction. You should be satisfied. You should never be satisfied. There's no limit to where you could take yourself. But most people don't listen to their inner voice, so they don't know what they're planting in their imagination. So that inner voice is already in your imagination. That's why your imagination, whatever's planted there, is going to be in your reality. It is actually a reality. People don't understand that. And they're going to see whatever they planted. Like what you and I are seeing in our reality right now is what we planted in our imagination the last 6 months. So, but they're lacking faith, and faith is critical to this whole process. Faith is not believing something's going to happen way out in the future. It's bringing the future into the now. I want everyone to get this. Everything we're creating is right now. But most people are distracted saying, I got to do this tomorrow. I got to do this next week. Well, guess what you created? You created that in the now, and you lost that present moment. But faith is accepting as a fact what your senses are denying. Your senses are saying, come on, you're crazy. You're not going to do that. Look what we've done the last 2 years. That's why it's crucial to live from the end. Like if everybody just got this and started living comfortably from how they want to live, like they're living it right now, they would attract so much abundance, so much affluence, so much freedom, so much fulfillment, and they would never doubt themselves. But they have to train themselves to do it. This isn't an overnight thing.
Yeah.
Life is a game of failure. Life is a game of pain. You're going to have pain, but pain is what grows us spiritually. Every time we're in pain, we grow so much more spiritually. But people resist the pain. They don't want to feel it. But feeling is the secret to living a world-class life. You're not always going to feel joy. Now, I hope your dominant state becomes joy because you've trained yourself. But if you're going after something that's worthy of you, you're going to have to overcome pain. You're going to have to overcome adversity. You're going to have to overcome your lower self. And I want you just feeding your higher self. So if you feel bad, I have people say, I feel bad that I want to create great wealth. Why would you feel bad? That means you're doing so much good in the marketplace. But wealth isn't something distant in the future. It's a state you assume, and then you work at it every day. But stop working at a million things. If you just worked at a few things every day, compound that by 100, 150 days, you're going to create a massive level of achievements in your life.
This is so good, Arash, and everybody might want to rewind 2 minutes and listen to that one more time. I want to dig into two things that you said. At the very beginning, you said you should never be satisfied. And then you said something about when people feel bad about it. So we teach gratitude, but how do you coach people to balance gratitude for what they have while also always striving to achieve more? Always like maintaining that dissatisfaction.
Well, you have to, like, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, you have to have a real gratitude process. Most people, at moments, they feel gratitude. But you want to train yourself to feel gratitude all day long. Feel gratitude for the hard times. The hard times really get us to feel grateful for what we have. Feel gratitude for the great things. Feel gratitude for what you can't see, but you know is coming. I have a practice at the end of the day. Everyone knows the beginning of the day, but do you have a practice at the end of the day? When I'm going to sleep, I review my day and I really declare what I was grateful for during that day. And then you go off to sleep in gratitude, and all you're doing is creating a huge level of abundance for you. But we want to feel grateful for it all. It's easy to feel grateful for the things that are going well in our life. But in my opinion, true gratitude is being grateful for the challenging moments. But the difficulty is always lack of belief. And it's your doubt and hesitation that blocks the very flow of the solutions you're seeking right now. Now, I can take you back. I swear to God, I can take you back. I thought I was going crazy. I was so inspirationally dissatisfied, and I'm like, is this really going to happen? Like, that's what the voice was saying. And I kept saying, I don't know, because I'd never done it before. But I said, there was just this burning fire inside of me that kept pushing me to say no to comfort. Mm-hmm. And I believe every time we have comfort and we feel that discomfort, that's our subconscious mind saying, this is what you want, get going. Get going. It's not about running backwards. But most people run backwards. Oh, I don't want to feel that. I love safety. Do you? Ask yourself, do you really love safety, or is that the easy way out? Start stretching yourself, start challenging yourself to be the greatest version of you. And the greatest version of you will show up when you completely surrender and let go and just walk into possibilities. We want to really deny our senses. Like, go for a walk and just look at the abundance instead of saying, this is abundant, that's abundant, this is abundant. Just be aware of the abundance. See a dog just wagging his tail and just say, that's abundant. But don't associate it with your senses. Mm-hmm. When you do that, you're going to start drawing abundance to you, because everything is us reflected outwards. So if we start being aware of the abundance and then start seeing the good things you do, say, I've never done that before. An exercise I give clients all the time. I'm working with a client who's just at our World Class Wealth event, and she was really committed to safety. So I'm having her text me every day. I'm asking her to do one thing out of her comfort zone every day. She has not missed a day of texting me. And I already see just through the text message, you could feel the energy going up. That's what I want all of you to do. Just for today, do something uncomfortable and then do it again tomorrow and then do it again the next day. If you could do one thing out of your comfort zone every day, you're going to start bringing out the best version of you.
That's so good. I think it would be easy for everyone listening to this or even not listening to this to assume that dissatisfaction is reserved for when you're stuck. But why do you think that it is important for all people and high achievers especially to maintain a level of dissatisfaction even when they've reached their goal, even when they're quote unquote successful? Why is it important for them to maintain that?
Because you can go back just as quick as you went up. Complacency is a dangerous game. So you'll know somebody who's really successful and they achieve a goal, they set the next one. You'll know the person who achieved a goal, then starts drinking their Kool-Aid. I work with this with clients all the time. The ego comes in and says, let's take a break. We could take a break when we're dead. Right now, we're here to create amazing experiences, really show ourselves what we're capable of. I want everybody to be proud of what they're doing every day. There's nothing better than an accomplishment. There's nothing about feeling more proud of yourself. That's what I want you to step into. A result, we get a great result. We're happy for an hour. We're happy for a day. My son just won his gymnastic competition. So we took him out for a celebratory dinner. And he was already on to the next competition he has next week. And I said, but let's celebrate this for 24 hours. Let's give us 24 hours to celebrate it. But I understand what he was saying because he was on to the next. That is actually a very healthy habit. But I think all of us at the end of the week should celebrate our week for 24 hours. Even if you lost the week, celebrate it. Did I put my best? What did I learn? What did I do well? What could I have learned from? But are we asking ourselves, there's two great questions. I'm so huge on questions. At the end of every day, I ask myself, what did I do well? What could I have done better? And I ask that from a very neutral place. Whenever you ask a question, it's always neutral. But if I could get everybody to understand their spiritual DNA is absolutely perfect, they're infinite, they're already worthy, they're already 1,000 times more good enough than they believe, they will step into the best version of themselves and they're going to create so much impact in the world.
All right, Arash, let's get into an action step for this week.
I want you to identify what part of you needs to die off. What part of you are settling? I want you to identify this. Think about it. Right now, that's a good question. It's a hell of a good question. It's not just a good question. I'm asking myself every day, what part of me needs to die off that is not aligned with who I want to be? And, ask yourself that. Is it excuses? Here's a big one. Pride. Pride is a big one. I watch so many people kill off their potential because of pride. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it doggedly harder. So ask yourself, what part of you needs to die off? I want something to die off of me every day. Because every day is new. Every day, like today, is a new day while we're recording this. I want the old us to die off so the new, better version of us can show up. Because I'm telling you, you have so much potential inside of you. You got to let it out. You're not going to let it out being restricted. You're not going to let it out keep showing up the same way. You're not going to let it out not building your character. Character is something we build every day. Character is much more important than reputation. So I encourage you to listen to this podcast 25 times. It's going to create so much more belief in you. Listen to it over and over again. And if you do that, you watch over the next few months, you're going to be on fire.
Arash, thank you so much. This turned out to be an incredible episode. In closing, remember, dissatisfaction isn't a sign that there's something wrong with you. It's a signal that there's something bigger calling you forward. So use it for you, let it inspire you, become inspirationally dissatisfied. And thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed the episode, please leave us a rating and review. Share this with your friends and family, and we'll see you next week on another episode of the 7-Figure Standard Podcast. Thanks, Arash.
Thanks, Mikey.
Thank you for listening to this episode of 7-Figure Standard. We hope you found the insights and strategies helpful on your journey to success. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform to help us reach more people like you. To learn more about Arash and Mikey and how Voss Coach & Co. can help you achieve your goals and reach new levels of success, visit vosscoachandco.com. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of 7-Figure Standard.